I'm 43, due to be 44 next Saturday, which I'm very excited about. I live in Brenchley, in Kent. I have 2 lovely children, and yeah, that's me in a nutshell, really. Before I got ill, life was pretty full on. It was busy. I had 2 young children, so they were 2 and 4. I was running my own business, had lots of friends, have a lovely family. I worked out, I love exercise. I was doing body combat and yoga and swimming. I was playing netball in the league. So things were it was good, I was happy. But looking back now, it was pretty busy. It was really obvious, actually. I was really well. I remember on the Sunday, I actually went to play netball, and I did yoga in the afternoon, and I went to work on the Monday morning, and I just felt a little bit under the weather. And I got tonsillitis that evening. I could not even speak, and I couldn't even go to work the next day. And from that moment on, things really changed for me.
When I was 3, she was feeling fine. You wouldn't have known it would ever come. And she was playing all the time, and she was with me, and she was playing dollies with me and everything like that. But then when I was 4, everything just like turned around into like a different world, and it just wasn't as fun.
Yeah, my life was turned upside down pretty quickly. It was all a bit of a blur. I had tonsillitis, and then I just remember having lots of pains everywhere, and I was exhausted. I was really exhausted. I couldn't really think straight from someone who was so completely on top of things. I couldn't even phone up and order a takeaway. It just seemed really difficult. I just couldn't do it. I just wasn't functioning. I was in quite a lot of pain. I was just unplugged. It's really hard to describe, and everyone on the outside could see that I wasn't getting out of bed, but it was that inability not to even, I couldn't get my words out. And it is really hard to describe, but it's heartbreaking not to be able to do those things that it was just very easy to do before. It's like it was just taken away. It was really confusing time because you don't really know what's happening. You feel so different. You're actually really worried, like, what's wrong with me? Why am I still feeling ill 2 weeks on after tonsillitis, 3 weeks, 4 weeks? It was really scary because you just think, what's going on? What's happening? And with 2 young kids as well, that was really hard because they were so young, they were really dependent on you. And that probably was the hardest thing. That was so natural before. It's just so natural, I didn't think about it. So the transition was hard. Do you know what? The impact on my family, I probably didn't think about at the time because I was quite self-absorbed. I was in a bubble, my own bubble of just trying to get through every moment, you know, just lying in bed, wondering what was wrong with me, couldn't get out of bed, even talking to someone, the lights, the noise. It was just everything. It was just like I'd been unplugged.
Well, she normally used to like drop me off at school and everything, and she just wasn't there for me. And in the day I'd like be missing her and everything. And sometimes at night my dad would just be like, we can't interrupt her. She might be sleeping, or she might be just relaxing and wanting to be on her own. And it was just really not nice about her.
I wasn't getting out of bed, my arms were hurting, and it was quite a quick deterioration. It didn't happen over weeks and months, this was pretty quick. From that day in February when I got that tonsillitis, things changed for me. I mean, I wasn't picking them up, I couldn't even plait, couldn't do Amber's hair. Just the little things you take for granted that are so easy, I just couldn't do them. And I was exhausted, and I remember at the weekends lying in bed and hearing them play with my husband outside, and that's all I wanted to do.
And I couldn't do it, I could not do that. And that was really hard.
She had no personality, you know, she was just not really doing anything, or she didn't really laugh much and everything, like she always does, and it's just different, I'm not laughing. So.
The thing that used to make me probably most angry was when people could see that I wasn't the same. I was walking slowly, I wasn't talking to people so much, like at the school gates. I couldn't even hold a conversation with anyone. I didn't even want to. I had no energy to have the desire to even talk to someone. And someone might ask me how I was, and I'd be, I'm just exhausted. And people say, oh, I get it, I'm really tired. And that for me used to get to me, because I'm like, this is not tiredness. I actually I've done everything to walk my kids to school today, and I would go back home and I would get in bed until I had to pick them up. It's just pure exhaustion. And I think because I'm naturally probably quite high energy anyway, people would just think, oh, you'll get over it, you'll be fine. They had no idea what I was going through and what it took to do really, really small tasks. Really small tasks, that was hard. So I was ill for 3 years, and I was up and down, but I was never fully plugged back in. I might have a day or two where there was this glimmer of the old me, which is what I was really searching for. My thinking a lot of the time was around, how am I going to get better? I never really thought about, was it going to be forever? I couldn't go there because I was scared. I didn't know what was going on. My life had turned completely upside down, which one doctor said to me, I always remember when she first diagnosed me, and I cried, and I was asked, why are you crying? It's like, well, you've just told me that I have this ME, CFS, I know nothing about, doesn't sound great. And she said some people never get better, some people end up in a wheelchair, and I was crying. And I always remember her saying, oh, maybe you're depressed, because I was crying, which I knew I wasn't depressed on any level. I knew I wasn't depressed, I was certain. I actually had a friend who told me that there was someone that was going to be doing a study, and you had to be officially diagnosed with ME or CFS. And you know what, at that point I'd almost stopped looking for something to heal me, because I had been through so many different things to try. I'd spent so much money, I invested so much time and energy into getting better. I think I got to that point where I was like, well, I'm just going to not try anything for a while, stop the million supplements I was on, and just kind of live my life the way that I was being. So when I heard about this study, I thought, why not? So it was actually just a friend that suggested I go on it, and you know what, I really didn't think that much about it. It was just fascinating because I remember the very first video. So I'd signed up to it, and there was a video, and you had to watch this video of John and Karen, and things changed for me after that. I stopped living in fear of crashing. I stopped living in fear of worrying that, oh my God, if I do that, I'm going to be exhausted, and if I have that conversation with that person, or if I go where all those lights are, I'm going to have a sleep, and I better not drive more than 10 minutes because I'm going to be really exhausted. I just stopped doing any of that. I stopped overthinking, and I stopped living in fear of what might happen, and that I would go back to that place of being unplugged. And slowly but surely, I got plugged back in.
Well, it was in January this year, and I remember one day her just saying, okay, come on then, let's go out for a bike ride. We were a bit like, whoa, are you serious? And then we finished the bike ride, and she was sweating and everything, and we were like, you're right, she just went to bed, and she's been way better since and everything. she's just been up and we've all been going on bike rides together and everything, and it's just way more fun.
If I want to go and play a sport, I go play a sport. If I want to go play with my kids, I go and play with my kids. It sounds so simple, yet if you were where I was at, everything was taken away from you. So you don't have the luxury of being able to just go play sport, just to go and plait your daughter's hair, or just go and have a glass of wine with someone. So it's just awesome.
She's just more fun and more like happy, and she does more things, and she's just like another mum. She plays loads of things with me. And when we get back, we always watch a movie, and it's just really good. It's just amazing the way she wakes me up every morning, gets my clothes on my heater so they're nice and warm, and the way when she picks me up from school, she'll give me a great big smile, because sometimes I don't always have the best day.
Life now is awesome. It is. I mean, I feel quite, I feel so blessed and so grateful, because I'm just me. I just have fun. I can play sports. I've been playing netball, I've been playing tennis, I've been playing badminton. I can hang out with my kids, I can pick them up, I can take them out of the bath, like simple things. I'm going back to work. But do you know what? I have fun. And things were really intense for quite a while and very serious. And I've just connected with that real fun part. And I know it seems like I'm emotional, but I am, because it's truly wonderful, and I am so grateful, sincerely, to feel how I feel now. I'm so lucky. I am very grateful and really blessed for that study, because it's just given me my life back, and more actually. I love working with Karen and John. It was fun, and it was a bit different. I mean, it's on the video conference, of course, so you don't actually meet them. You don't need to meet them. I know people would be like, I'd rather have a one-to-one or a face-to-face, and how are they going to really get to know me? Really doesn't matter. And they're fun, and they're really likeable, and they know their stuff. And they don't preach at you, they don't tell you what to do. It's very much, you listen in, and you kind of get what you need without it being prescriptive or structured, or I'm sure there's structure that sits there. And you know, John pitched up and did one of them in his pyjamas. I mean, great, you know, but great, because this is, again, it wasn't intense, but actually it is very serious what they were doing, but they made it so palatable and so engaging that it was actually truly wonderful. And I really look forward to actually just listening to them and listening to Karen's stories, and they make it relevant, and it's realistic, and it's present day. And you know what? They've both had this. They've both had it. That is huge. They're not sitting there pretending that they know what it's like, because they've experienced it firsthand. They get it. And that speaks volumes, and it did. I think the most delightful thing for me is I could never, it makes me feel emotional, but being quite sporty as well, I could never do sports day with my kids, because they always have a mum's race, and my kids always had sponsored walks, so I could never go on them. And what's truly lovely is to see their faces, like I've just done a couple of months ago. I think it was, I don't even know how long it was, I didn't even care. I mean, how lovely is that? I didn't even think, how long is it? And I did the sponsored walk with them, and it's just lovely. They're just holding my hands, and they were saying, my mummy's doing this, my mummy's doing this. And for me, that I couldn't ask for anything else. And this year we went canoeing, kayaking down the Ardèche, 24 kilometres. And just to see their faces, they're really like, Mummy, are you going to do it? I'm like, yeah, come on, this is going to be brilliant. And they really were just like, oh my God. I would whip his arse. No, I shouldn't say that. I would absolutely beat him if I raced him. And this year in the south of France, we set up from one end of the beach to the other, and I gave it everything I've got, to be honest. I really did. But I beat him by that second, and rather than a 6-year-old going, Mummy, you beat me, he was like, wow, you're so fast. My mum is good at football, and I pick him up in the playground and he'll throw sweets at me, and he's like, look at my mum, she can catch one-handed, she can do this, and he's proud.
She just got better, she can play football, she can nearly beat me, and it's really annoying. But I really need to beat her, and once on the beach she beat me, I tried again, she beat me again, and I got really annoyed, so yeah.
That is perfect, that is so Cameron, but how lovely. Going from boring, if he saw me as boring, to boring because I win things, and I do put all my effort in, for sure, because I want him just to be like, wow. And be that role model that I wanted to be, you know, like go play sports, play tennis with them, go kayaking with them, go swimming, and because I genuinely love to do those things, and I want to be that mum, and now I am, which is just glorious.
Her personality. Yeah. And the way she just laughs all the time. Yeah. She's just amazing. Yeah, when I'm a mum, when I'm older, I want to be exactly like her. She's like the best mum in the world.
Just give it a go. Stop overthinking things, stop analysing things, and just see what happens, and give yourself that opportunity to, okay, maybe try something different.